Did you really think I would do a 50-day proven email breakdown challenge without featuring an email from Chris Orzechowski? Dude, what were you thinking? Of course I would feature him. He's known as one of the best email copywriters around. In fact, his website is even theemailcopywriter.com. Wink. You can definitely check out his stuff. I fully endorse it. But the reason why I chose this email is because Chris is a shining example of someone who uses tons of personality, tons of humor, tons of us versus them mentality in his emails. And as we've seen in Daniel Trussell's case a few videos back, these types of emails are super effective at building the elusive know, like, and trust. The trifecta that you want to build with your email subscribers so that they actually start trusting you and they buy something from you. Because, surprise, surprise, people buy from other people they know, like, and trust, and not from random companies. And Chris is also an extremely good e-commerce email copywriter, and this is pretty rare because most e-commerce emails, they're boring, they're lifeless, they're soulless, there's not much effort put behind them, right? But what I like about his style and his agency style is that they create e-commerce emails that add a little bit of extra story, a little bit of extra flair to these types of pitches. However, in today's email, we're not going to focus on an e-commerce email. We're going to focus on a special type of email that you can send your list. And let's just call it the ludicrous reaction email, okay? Because it does just that, okay? If someone does something weird, like a subscriber sends you a funny picture or tries to troll you or something like that, you can easily get back to them, get back at them, in fact, and make the most out of the situation and write an extremely entertaining email. And at the end of the day, right, people aren't looking for like boring, plain old education anymore in their emails. There's too much noise out there nowadays. They're looking for edutainment, okay? Education coupled with entertainment. And the more entertaining and funny you can be, the more successful you'll be. And we've seen this before time and time again. That's why Ben Settle is so successful. That's why Daniel Trussell is so successful. In fact, over the last Black Friday promotion, he outsold like 10 other super high-level copywriters single-handedly, even though he only had like a relatively small list. And that's why also Chris is so successful. So this email is definitely not for the faint of heart. You need to have a certain trust already built with your audience to pull this off. You need to have a good relationship already built with your subscribers, because if you were to send an email like this as the second email in a welcome series, well, chances are it wouldn't really work out so well, right? But if you already have an audience, if they already know and like your personality, then you can surely create something like this, and I guarantee that the results are going to be bombastic. So let's see what this whole email is about. And the subject line gives it all away. Like how can you not open something like this? Want to see a picture of my balls? That's the subject line. Want to see a picture of my balls? And then we have extra context for added curiosity. Not safe for work? Maybe? I think? Not sure? You be the judge, right? So if you know Chris, you know that his style is very ballsy, right? And sometimes I think he covered the concept of balls multiple times before in his emails. But anyway, like people reading this, they can definitely imagine Chris doing something crazy like this. Well, not show his actual balls, but who knows what this whole thing might result in. And that's why there's extra curiosity to this whole thing. And that's why I think this is an extremely powerful subject line. But again, you have to look at it in the context, right? People already expect something crazy from Chris like that. They expect a very strong personality-based, personality-driven email. So then we jump into the email itself. Earlier this week, I sent out an anonymous survey to my list. So we have a little setup element, right? There's no throat-clearing copy. We just get right into the action. And then he adds more context. I wanted to gather some insights into what kind of content, products we can create to help our tribe take their marketing skills to the next level. So there's a little element here that indicates that, hey, we sent out this survey because we want to serve you better. We want to create content and products that serve you better. So, people usually appreciate something like this. But then something happens. And with all great stories, there's a little setup, and then you have to build on the story before giving away the punchline. So at this point, people already know that something fishy is going on here. Like, want to see a picture of my balls? What the fuck is happening there, right? But Chris isn't giving it away. It's not like, hey, this is what happened to me. Instead, he's building tension. And all good stories have tension. In fact, the best stories have the most tension. Think about the series or the movies that you've watched that you really enjoyed. They all had this type of narrative structure, like ups and downs, ups and downs. When you think that the protagonist finally wins, something bad happens again, and something worse happens after it. Those are the stories that we really, really appreciate and that we really enjoy watching. And the same thing is happening here. Before giving you the punchline, there's a lot of context and teasing, like mostly teasing. So he goes, now apparently someone was feeling a little frisky when they hit the Typeform page. Notice the little specifics here, Typeform page. It's not like when they submitted their answer. It's specific, it's visual, we can visualize it, and that's important because good copy is all about visuals, painting pictures, mental pictures. So then he says, and well, they had a bit of an unorthodox request. So without further ado, I'd like to step out of my comfort zone and show you something that I've never shared publicly before. It might be a little not safe for work. You might want to ask small children to leave the room. So there's more tease happening. He's building tension. And then even more tease happening because he says, and you might never look at me the same way again after I show you this pic, but I have to give the people what they want. Scroll down and take a look. And then you have even more teasing elements. And then you have a screenshot of someone who filled out the survey and answered my balls and your balls to the two main questions. Like, what WTF? Like, you can't make this up, right? This is only some ridiculous stuff that happens to you in the real world, but Chris is very smart, and as soon as this happened, I bet you within like 2 seconds he was like, oh man, I gotta write an email about this, it's gonna be the bomb. So that's what he probably felt and thought. And it's why not, right? It's a super funny situation, and based on Chris's past email track record, he can definitely pull off something super funny out of this. And notice the other thing, he's not telling you what someone else said, he's showing you the picture because it has more shock value. It has, just like I said a few seconds ago, good copy is about showing instead of telling. And by showing us the full screenshot, first of all, it seems more real because it's a proof element. Like, would you Photoshop this? Maybe, but I don't think Chris, really wants to do that. But it has a stronger appeal like this. So then then comes the commentary part. So he says, all right then, where do we even begin? Cracks knuckles. So notice again, a visual element. Chris is very good at painting pictures, and there's a lot of cognitive psychology research about this. And believe me, I studied this. I majored in cognitive psychology. But there's a lot of research that the things that we see with our eyes and the things that we visualize with our, let's just say, internal eyes, they use mostly the same brain circuitry. Okay, so if you can help people visualize something, the better you can do it, the more they will actually feel like they almost saw something like that in real time or in real life, right? And that's why painting visual pictures and maybe hypnotizing people with your copy or using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming type of copy is so powerful because it paints these pictures and it makes them feel more real to people. And all these subtle elements just add to the whole narrative here, like cracks knuckles. You can imagine that. You can do it almost yourself. So then he asks a philosophical question. And this whole part is basically a rant about like, what the fuck? Like, how can this be? How can people be so weird? Like, he's just flabbergasted. That's this whole thing here. But let's just read it. So, what in the ever-loving F is wrong with some people? Lol. Now, I know you might be a little disappointed at this big reveal. Brain me, Orzi. Show us the Batwing, Orzi. So, this is specific slang and personality elements. All these relate to his balls, basically. Like people demanding for him to show the picture. But he goes, I have to wonder, what goes through people's minds when they type something like this? Do they think a robot reads these responses? The funniest thing is, this person is a customer. So the plot thickens, but wait, there's more. Like, I thought this would be some random troll, but no, it's a customer. What's happening here? Some random troll, I could understand that, but a customer who actually paid me money, like, what's happening here? I don't understand this. And you can feel Chris's like mental state, like he's finding it hard to believe his eyes. So then he goes further, more philosophical questions. Who could have done such a thing? Was it Jimmy Parent who is messing with me here? Is this a serious request? Is this the start of an illustrious OnlyFans career for Orzi? Again, so much humor, so much personality, like starting an OnlyFans career for Orzi. Again, when you use these personality-driven elements, it makes your voice, your email sound more real. And people are looking for this. They're actively craving this in 2022. They're sick and tired of BS marketing, of all the typical reformulated, template-based formulas that most lower-skilled copywriters use because they saw it in John Carlton's 10-year-old course or something. The context has changed, and sure, those things have their place on a sales page somewhere, yes. But when you're building a relationship with your tribe over an email, you have to let go of the traditional like pitch-based copywriting approach in most cases, not every time, but in most cases, and just entertain them like this, right? And it converts really, really, really well. And if you think about it, this doesn't sound like copywriting talk, right? But it is very effective copywriting. Again, the text flows nicely, the story is interesting, we want to read more, even though it's basically just a rant. Like, Chris is just wondering, like, what's happening here? And then he even says, like, I have questions. So many questions. Man, people are strange. So strange. In fact, that's not the only weird thing that happened in Orziland this week. So at this point, we thought that the story would be over. That's it, right? But no, wait, there's more. So again, remember that up and down. Remember that the more conflict you have in a story, the better and the stronger the punchline. So there's more. I got some new fresh trolls on my Facebook ads. Again, I ask, what swamp do these effers crawl out of? I don't know, should I say the F word on YouTube videos or not? I don't know if it will be demonetized or something. Well, I don't know, we'll see. But what swamp do these people crawl out of, right? And then you have another picture of another troll with someone basically commenting, scam alert, with a bazillion exclamation points after it. And Chris goes, Peter, my guy, did you use enough exclamation points? How much glue did you huff this morning? There is a certain subpopulation of the boomer haplogroup that thinks everything is a scam. So again, someone, it's a troll, they're just idiots, and instead of Chris acting all defensive or trying to appeal to them or appease them, he's making fun of them, and he's doing it publicly so that this also serves as entertainment for his list, for his audience. Like, what a nice way to create content, create super engaging content, right? And we can all learn a lot from this. Obviously, you have to have some sort of brand or personality to pull this off, but if you can, again, you're gonna definitely get tons of replies to this, which is good because it helps your deliverability score. So Then he goes, I'm just a humble yet handsome email copywriting teacher. So he's not defensive. Instead, he's reframing the whole situation. I'm just trying to teach my people how to charge what they're worth so they can live a better life. Like, why are you picking on me? I'm just this humble guy, but good looking guy. Again, more personality, more humor. And finally, we get a little bit of a takeaway from this. He says, you just have to fuck with these people. That's what I've learned. There's no reasoning with a person like this. You've just got to shine the spotlight back on them and make them feel like an idiot, right? So I guess that's the takeaway, the big lesson in this email. But it's true, and I think a lot of people, especially those who are content creators, can relate to this. Because I've also put out Facebook ads in the past, and I also gotten troll comments or some really weird stuff, you know, from all sorts of people. The internet is big, you know, God's zoo is pretty big. You know, you can at least make fun of them and entertain your tribe through this. Then we have another example, you know, and basically Chris just roasts this guy as well. He just says, you know, and by the way, his name is Skeeter, so obviously that kind of invites trolling, and that invites roasting him. And one important other thing that Chris does here is that he clearly highlights the value of his brand and clearly highlights how he's different compared to others, because he says, out of 1,000 brands you see on Facebook, I'm the guy who's going to clap back and make you look like a jackass. None of this, hey, person name, it's someone from team brand name, thanks so much for your feedback and your ad, we'll try to do better next time. No, you do better next time, motherfucker. Don't bring that bullshit up in my edit account. So again, this is just so congruent with Chris's personality, and people are used to this at this point. And think about it, it adds more trust to his brand, and in fact, it lowers people's uncertainty from buying from him, because he's consistent. He's always like this. He's been like this ever since he started doing copywriting. He's even before that, when he was like a school teacher. He's always like this, and this consistency creates trust, and people buy from other people they know, like, and trust. Always remember this whenever you're doing marketing or communication or PR or something like that. So then we're getting to the end of the email. He says, feels good, nothing like a little scalping to start the day off. This is my hashtag secret guru morning ritual. So we have even more personality, humor, values. It's just, you know, it's there's no big takeaway from this email. There's no copywriting lesson. There's no like life-changing insight that he shares with us. He's just riffing off of something funny, and people appreciate this. Sometimes that's exactly what we need in our inbox. We need, as we're scrolling through the dozens of emails that we got during the night, our eyes catch something like this, want to see a picture of my balls. We open it, we spend like 3, 4, 5 minutes with this email, or maybe 2 minutes, and then we get a little extra dose of serotonin and dopamine from it. And that's what we want, right? We just want to get taken away from our mundane, boring day-to-day lives and just laugh something. It's just like watching a funny cat video, but more sophisticated. And think about it, like ultimately you're kind of competing with other people who are putting out funny cat videos. It's hard to compete with funny cat videos if you're a copywriter or you're a brand or something like that. But I think that this gets pretty close. And also, like, I love this secret guru morning ritual. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then he says, I feel #grateful, thankful, blessed, and now that I've gotten my head on straight, I'm ready to tackle life's challenges. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Again, it's like, it's random, it's funny, but it's Chris, and people appreciate this. And then the PS, it's not over. Like, even though the email doesn't like make a it doesn't teach you anything life-changing. There's still a pitch in the PS, because Chris knows that you have to always be selling. Not with every single email, but with most of them. Since this is his core product, Make It Rain Monthly, he's taking every chance he can to just mention it. And it's not hard selling it or something. It's not needy. It's not trying to force it on people. It just says, hey, you know, this cool thing is coming out soon. It's going to be a beastly issue. We're going to talk about how to launch and scale a continuity program for your brand. You're going to see examples and quick case studies, and you're going to learn how to use this to generate more MRR on autopilot without having to lift a finger. So all these benefits, and hey, this is where you join. Like, he's not aggressive about it. It's like, hey, here's this cool thing. It's coming out soon. Check it out if you want. If not, fine by me. I have enough subscribers already. But you know, if you want to get free money, basically, then check it out. If not, whatever. It's your choice. So it's not needy at all. And I think that's also why it eventually wears people down. Sure, you might not buy this in this email or in his next email or in his 10th email, but eventually he's gonna get you. Eventually, it's just like Ben Settle, and he's using a very similar style compared to Ben Settle. He has email players, Ben Settle, and he's also doing like these entertaining emails, and then at the end, there's a pitch to the same offer, which is always the same. It's just that the new issue comes up soon, and there's no backlog of issues. Or maybe as an upsell there is, but like if you join, like you cannot join to get all the back issues as well. Maybe eventually Chris does it differently, and Ben basically repackages those past issues into books, into very expensive books he sells for hundreds of dollars. But there is super organic urgency here. He even says like the issue is shipping out April 1st. The deadline is almost here, but there's very minimal urgency. You don't need it because the offer itself is set up in a way so that it has tons of urgency built in, right? So that's why it's so powerful. And then we have a little objection handling element as well. And yes, we ship internationally, because a lot of people will be thinking, but Chris, do you ship to Hungary? Well, yes, he does. Also, here's a few ways you can work with me when you're ready. So this is something we call the super signature. I also use it in some of my emails, and it's another way, because what if someone is here and they're not interested in Make It Rain Monthly, but they're still in a buying or like a more consumption mood, right? They've had a great time with this email and they want more from Chris, but they don't want to subscribe to a newsletter, like a print newsletter. Well, in this case, we're giving them extra options. So this is kind of like, hey, you know, here's extra ways I can help you. Learn, you know, the first thing relates to his YouTube channel. So this is there to organically help grow his channel. The second relates to his book, Scale While You Sleep. So this is the start of an indoctrination funnel. You can call it other ways as well, but this is how I like to call it, indoctrination funnel, because eventually it gets people to consume more and more of Chris's content so that eventually they buy something from him. Then you have like a low-hanging fruit type of product that most people want, Cart Abandonment Annihilator. It's like a very low-priced product that, again, prints money, especially if you don't have like a cart abandonment sequence or email. The fourth is just another version of this core offer. You know, this is I guess part of his template, right? And he uses a few versions of this in his emails, so that's why there's a duplicate here. And then finally, you know, his flagship course, Email Copy Academy, is also mentioned here, because this is aimed at hyper responsive people. So obviously the conversion rate of something like this is going to be super low, but still you might still get those 1-2 people who might be at the right time. So it's the right situation for them, and it's the right time to actually buy this, to enroll right now. You never know. And I've also gotten like surprise sales randomly from just using these types of links. And it's super powerful. It's called the super signature. I think Dean Jackson came up with this. And I broke down, Dean Jackson's famous 9-word email in a previous video. Check it out. There's a link in the description to the entire 50-day proven email breakdown series. And there's also a link to the now infamous 100-day proven sales letter breakdown challenge as well. Tons of great stuff here. So that's it for this email. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with someone else who you might appreciate this, or who's a big Chris Orzechowski fan. And yeah, check out the other links in the description. Bunch of cool stuff here, and see you in the next one. Cheers.